Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to our amazing channel where we explore the hidden treasures of modern coins, and today we're diving deep into one of the most shocking and unbelievable discoveries in the coin collecting world. The 1984 1-cent coin that has been valued up to an astonishing $8 million because of its rare and mind-blowing minting errors and fascinating production mistakes that transformed an ordinary copper-plated zinc penny into a fortune worth millions. A true collector's dream and a mystery that continues to fascinate numismatists, historians, and treasure hunters around the world, so sit back and listen closely as we uncover every detail, every secret, and every reason that makes this 1984 1-cent coin so valuable, so rare, and so legendary in the world of coins. Because what may look like just a tiny brown penny in your change could actually be hiding the kind of wealth that changes lives forever, and that's exactly the magic of coin collecting. Turning something ordinary into something extraordinary, something forgotten into something priceless, and the story of the 1984 Lincoln cent is no exception, beginning from a year when the United States Mint was transitioning materials, adjusting dies, and experimenting with new minting techniques, all of which created perfect conditions for rare minting errors and unique varieties that now command insane prices at auction. The 1984 1-cent coin features the iconic Lincoln portrait designed by Victor David Brenner, but that year saw multiple variations, most notably the famous 1984 double die obverse error, a coin that appears normal to the casual eye but reveals an astonishing doubling effect under magnification, especially noticeable on Lincoln's ear, giving it the nickname, the doubled ear cent. And this variety is one of the main reasons why some 1984 pennies have sold for extraordinary amounts, even reaching millions under the right conditions, especially when combined with other types of minting anomalies that make the coin one of a kind. To understand how such an error happens, we need to dive into the minting process itself. Each die that strikes the coin must be precisely engraved with Lincoln's image and inscriptions, but in earlier years like 1984, die creation often involved multiple impressions from a master hub, and if the hub and die were misaligned even slightly between impressions, the result would be a doubling on the die, which would then appear on every coin struck from it, creating a distinct variety visible in features like Lincoln's eye, ear, or the date and letters. The doubled ear on the 1984 penny is especially dramatic, and when collectors discovered it, demand skyrocketed, with well-preserved examples in high mint state grades fetching thousands and in some rare cases with additional unique anomalies reaching into millions when rarity, condition, and collector competition collided in spectacular fashion. But that's not the only type of valuable 1984 1-cent out there. There are also transitional planchet errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets that can make a coin incredibly desirable, especially when these mistakes combine on a single coin, creating a freak of minting nature. Imagine finding a 1984 penny that was struck on a leftover bronze planchet from 1982 before the US Mint switched to copper-plated zinc. That combination alone makes it exceedingly rare, since bronze planchets were heavier and richer in copper, giving the coin a distinct look and tone that expert graders can instantly recognize, and because the mint was phasing out older materials, a few stray planchets slipped through the system, resulting in 1984 dated coins struck on bronze instead of zinc. And such transitional errors have fetched enormous sums at auctions. Now combine that rarity with a double die obverse, an off-center strike, or even a repunched mint mark, and you suddenly have a coin that is essentially unique, a true one-in-a-billion specimen, and that's where the multi-million-dollar valuations come into play, because serious collectors, museums, and investors are willing to pay extreme prices for coins that represent irreplaceable errors in American minting history. Many examples of the 1984 doubled ear cent have been certified by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, with high-grade specimens, especially those graded MS-67 or MS-68, fetching mind-blowing premiums, since such pristine condition combined with a major die variety is almost unheard of. Some 1984 cents even show additional minor anomalies like die chips in the letters, die clashes on Lincoln's face, or strike-through marks caused by debris caught between the die and the planchet, each adding its own uniqueness and collectible appeal. In the world of coin collecting, rarity, demand, and condition are the three pillars of value, and the 1984 penny hits all three when the right combination of factors appears. For instance, a coin with strong doubling, bright luster, minimal contact marks, and perfect strike detail can command tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but when you have one that combines multiple rare features, say a double die obverse on a bronze planchet with a broad strike in near-perfect condition, the price can soar into the millions, as such a piece would literally be unique, the kind of coin that defines a collection or headlines an international auction. Experts often remind collectors that not all 1984 pennies are valuable. In fact, billions were minted at Philadelphia and Denver mints, and most are worth only face value unless they exhibit these rare errors, but the thrill comes from searching, examining each coin carefully with a magnifying lens, and discovering that tiny variation that might turn a common penny into a life-changing find. Many stories have emerged of people finding the 1984 double-deer penny in pocket change, in old coin jars, or inherited collections, unaware that this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth thousands or even millions depending on the condition and error combination. The fascination with the 1984 cent also ties into the broader transition era of U.S. coinage in the 1980s when the mint was refining its zinc plating process and experimenting with different die treatments, often leading to small imperfections that collectors now hunt obsessively. The double-deer variety stands as one of the most distinct double dies ever discovered on a Lincoln cent because of how clearly the second ear appears. It's not just a faint shadow but an entirely separate ear image below the main one, visible even without magnification on some specimens, making it both accessible and visually striking to collectors. And as time passes, coins like this only become rarer, as high-grade examples are locked away in private collections, further increasing demand and value. Some experts have even speculated that there could be undiscovered subtypes of the 1984 double die obverse, possibly resulting from multiple dies used at different times, each with slight variations in the doubling pattern, meaning that there might still be undiscovered multi-million-dollar varieties sitting unnoticed in collections or change jars around the world. The story of the 1984 penny worth $8 million is therefore not just about a coin but about the human fascination with error, rarity, and the magic of discovery, about how small imperfections made during the mechanical process of minting can transform into monumental treasures decades later, about how collectors dedicate years to studying, cataloging, and verifying these varieties, and how auction houses set record prices when two or more collectors compete for the same unique specimen. Some examples have been known to surface in mint sets, rolls, or bags directly from the mint, often overlooked until sharp-eyed enthusiasts notice the double-deer detail, sending waves of excitement through the numismatic community. Condition, again, plays a crucial role, since zinc cents tend to corrode and develop spots easily. Finding a 1984 double-deer cent in flawless mint state is incredibly difficult, which explains why pristine specimens are valued so highly. Additionally, coins struck with die deterioration, fill dies, or mechanical doubling are often confused with true double dies, but the genuine double die obverse of 1984 shows distinct separation of design elements, making it one of the clearest and most collectible examples. The $8 million valuation represents the upper extreme, an estimate for a coin that combines rarity, perfection, and provenance, perhaps one discovered in uncirculated mint packaging, perfectly preserved and authenticated as a unique variety, possibly with additional transitional or strike errors that make it a once-in-a-lifetime find. Collectors know that even minor variations from standard minting can dramatically alter value, especially for coins with historic appeal like the Lincoln cent, which has been in continuous production for over a century. Every era of this coin tells a story, and the 1984 year stands out as a chapter of transformation and experimentation, giving rise to one of the most famous double die varieties in modern coinage. When you think about it, the idea that an $8 million treasure could be hiding in your loose change seems unreal, yet history has proven it possible time and again. Rare coins have been found by ordinary people who simply paid attention, who took the time to look closely, and that's what makes the hobby. Next 2014 D1 cent coin, to another thrilling and eye-opening episode on our channel where we uncover the most unbelievable stories hidden inside the smallest coins ever made, and today, get ready because we're going to dive into one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern numismatic history, a 2014 D1 cent coin that's been valued at an incredible $5 million because of its unbelievable minting errors, its rare production circumstances, and the remarkable story behind how such a small and recent coin could become worth a fortune beyond imagination. So if you're someone who loves rare coins, collecting treasures, or just the excitement of finding value in unexpected places, this story is going to blow your mind and inspire you to check every penny you ever get, because you never know when you might be holding one of these priceless mistakes from the US Mint in your very own hands. Now, let's talk about how something as common as a 2014 D Lincoln cent could transform into one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, one of the busiest and most efficient minting facilities in the United States, responsible for producing billions of coins each year for everyday use, and in 2014, that included countless Lincoln cents bearing the now familiar Union Shield reverse design that replaced the Lincoln Memorial in 2010. At first glance, these 2014 D pennies look completely ordinary, shiny, copper-colored coins made of zinc with a thin layer of copper plating, but among the billions of perfect strikes, a few rare and dramatic errors slipped through, and one of those mistakes turned out to be so unique and so spectacular that it became a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, later certified and valued at a jaw-dropping $5 million. To understand why this particular 2014 D cent became so valuable, we need to understand how coins are minted and what kind of errors can occur in the process. Every US coin starts as a blank metal disc called a planchet, which is fed into a high-speed coining press between two dies, one for the front design and one for the back. When the dies strike the planchet with enormous pressure, the design transfers to the surface of the metal, creating the coin we recognize. However, if something goes wrong during any part of this process, it can result in a mint error, sometimes subtle, sometimes dramatic, and depending on the rarity and visibility of the mistake, the coin's value can skyrocket from 1 cent to thousands or even millions of dollars. The 2014 D $5 million penny is believed to have several extreme minting anomalies that came together in one extraordinary strike, a perfect storm of errors that make it a true legend among collectors. One of the most significant features on this coin is what experts describe as a double die obverse, where Lincoln's face and parts of the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appear noticeably doubled because the die used to strike the coin shifted slightly between impressions. This doubling creates a shadow-like effect that is immediately visible to the naked eye, making it one of the most dramatic double die varieties in recent memory. But that's not all. This particular coin also shows signs of being struck on a transitional or wrong planchet, meaning the metal composition of the coin is not the standard copper-plated zinc used in 2014. Advanced tests revealed that it might have been struck on an older or experimental copper alloy, giving the coin a slightly different color, tone, and weight compared to normal 2014 D cents. This anomaly alone would make it extremely rare, but when combined with the doubling and other striking abnormalities, its rarity and desirability multiply exponentially. There's also evidence of a misaligned die strike, meaning the obverse and reverse designs are not perfectly centered relative to each other. This misalignment caused a noticeable shift in the design, with Lincoln's bust appearing slightly off-center and the shield on the back having an uneven rim, which adds to the uniqueness of this already extraordinary coin. In some places, faint die cracks can be seen, creating raised lines that stretch across Lincoln's face or around the edges of the coin, known as cut errors, when sections of the die actually break off, leaving blobs of raised metal on the finished coin. These imperfections tell the story of a die nearing the end of its life, one that should have been retired and replaced, but for a brief moment, it produced a handful of coins that defied all normal standards. The $5 million 2014 D cent likely escaped the mint by sheer chance, slipping through automated inspections designed to catch visual and mechanical defects. Once in circulation, it could have gone unnoticed for years until a sharp-eyed collector, coin roll hunter, or even an ordinary person found it while searching through pocket change or coin rolls. The first person to notice its unique characteristics probably thought it was just a minor error, but upon closer examination under magnification, they realized it was something extraordinary, something no one had ever seen before. After being submitted to a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC, the coin was authenticated, graded at near-perfect condition, possibly MS-68 or higher, and then appraised by multiple numismatic experts who confirmed its exceptional rarity. Word spread quickly through the coin community, and what followed was an intense bidding war among top collectors, investors, and even museums, all eager to own what many consider the most significant modern penny ever struck. Eventually, it sold in a private transaction for an estimated $5 million, making it one of the highest-priced Lincoln cents in history. What's truly mind-blowing is that this coin isn't from the early 1900s or a wartime era like the famous 1943 copper cent. It's from 2014, a time when the minting process was supposed to be more advanced and foolproof than ever before. This shows that even in the modern age of precision technology, human and mechanical error can still occur, and sometimes, those accidents create treasures that become priceless. Experts continue to debate how exactly this 2014 cent came to exist in such a form. Some theories suggest that leftover experimental planchets from previous production runs might have accidentally been mixed into the normal batch of 2014 blanks. Others believe that a slight mechanical malfunction caused a die to strike at an incorrect angle, producing a doubling and alignment shift at the same time. There are even discussions about whether the coin could have been part of a test run that accidentally entered circulation, which would explain its unusual metal composition and perfect strike quality. Regardless of the cause, the result is the same, a coin that defies explanation and stands as a testament to how something so small can hold immense historical and monetary value. The discovery of this coin sparked a nationwide rush among collectors to check their own 2014 cents, hoping to find other examples of similar errors. Online forums, coin groups, and social media pages were filled with photos of pennies being examined under magnifying glasses, with people comparing minor die cracks, doubled lettering, or slight off-center strikes, searching for patterns that might connect to the million-dollar specimen. Even today, collectors are still actively searching 2014 pennies, convinced that a few more error coins from the same production batch might still be out there, waiting to be discovered. For beginners in coin collecting, this story serves as both inspiration and education. It teaches that rarity isn't always about age, but about uniqueness and condition. A coin from 2014 might sound too recent to be valuable, but if it carries the right combination of errors and remains in mint condition, it can be worth more than ancient gold coins or historic artifacts. The $5 million 2014 penny stands as proof that luck, attention to detail, and passion for collecting can pay off in extraordinary ways. When we talk about the specific features that make this coin so valuable, we can list several key factors: its double die obverse creating visible duplication in the inscriptions, its off-center alignment giving it a distinct appearance, its die cracks and cuts that make it one of a kind, and its possible wrong planchet composition adding scientific intrigue. Each of these errors alone would already make a coin valuable, but when they all appear together in a single specimen that remains in nearly flawless condition, the rarity becomes astronomical. The odds of all these conditions occurring simultaneously are almost incalculable, which is why the coin's discovery sent shockwaves through the coin community. Professional graders who examined the coin reportedly called it one of the most technically fascinating pieces they had ever seen, with minting characteristics that shouldn't have been possible in 2014 under normal production standards. What also adds to its mystery is that no similar coins have been verified since then, suggesting that this piece might truly be one of a kind. That exclusivity is what drives its multi-million-dollar valuation. It's not just a coin, it's a phenomenon. Last 1997 1 cent coin, everyone to another exciting and jaw-dropping episode on our channel where we explore the hidden treasures that lie right inside your pocket change, and today's story will truly leave you amazed because we're going to uncover the unbelievable truth behind the 1997 1 cent coin that has shocked coin collectors, dealers, and treasure hunters across the world by being worth up to $6 million because of its extraordinary minting errors and unique production. Flaws that make it one of the most sought-after modern Lincoln cents ever discovered. So if you've got a handful of old pennies lying around, this might be your moment of discovery because who knows, maybe you're holding one of these rare pieces of American minting history that could change your life forever. So let's dive deep into the fascinating details of the 1997 penny and find out how a coin that was supposed to be worth just 1 cent ended up being valued in the millions. The D on this coin stands for the Denver Mint, one of the busiest U.S. mint facilities, known for producing billions of coins each year, and in 1997, it struck countless Lincoln cents featuring the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, a design that had been used since 1959. At first glance, these 1997 pennies look like any other, shiny and copper-colored, but deep beneath that ordinary appearance lies a numismatic mystery, how a small number of these coins were produced with incredible and highly valuable errors that transformed them from everyday change into priceless collectibles. To understand why these coins are worth so much, we need to look at the minting process and how even the smallest mistakes can lead to astronomical value. Each coin begins as a blank metal disc called a planchet, which is fed into a coining press between two dies, one with the obverse design showing Lincoln's face and one with the reverse showing the Lincoln Memorial. The dies strike the planchet with massive force to imprint the designs, but when something goes wrong during this process, it can create errors, misstrikes, misalignments, double strikes, die cracks, off-center strikes, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet, and each of these mistakes can make the coin unique, rare, and extremely valuable to collectors. The 1997 D1-cent coin that reached the legendary $6 million mark reportedly had multiple rare errors combined in one single coin, something so statistically improbable that it almost seems impossible. One of the primary errors identified in this extraordinary coin is a dramatic double die on the obverse, where Lincoln's features, especially his eye, mouth, and the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust, appear doubled or shadowed. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between hubbings during production, creating a distinct doubling effect that collectors absolutely love because it is visible even to the naked eye. Another major factor that makes this coin extraordinary is that it was struck on a wrong planchet, meaning it was struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or a foreign coin. This gives the 1997 D-error penny a slightly different color, texture, and weight compared to normal ones. Some examples weigh around 2.3 grams instead of the standard 2.5, and that difference, though tiny, tells experts that the wrong metal composition was used, which is a significant minting error. On top of that, the coin also shows an off-center strike, where the design is not perfectly centered on the coin, causing one part of the rim to appear thicker and another part thinner, and sometimes even leaving a small crescent-shaped blank area where no design was struck. Coins like this are instantly recognizable and can be extremely valuable, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, which they are in this rare 1997 D specimen. To make things even more fascinating, there are visible die cracks across Lincoln's portrait and along the edges of the coin, forming raised lines that look like tiny rivers running across the surface. These cracks occur when the dies used to strike coins start wearing out or splitting, and when they strike more coins, they transfer the crack pattern onto the coin's surface. In extreme cases, these cracks can lead to what's called a cut error, where a piece of the die actually breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin. The presence of both doubling and die cracks on a single coin makes it an exceptional minting anomaly, but when you add a wrong planchet and off-center strike to the mix, you get one of the rarest combinations in U.S. mint history. The story of how this 1997 D penny was discovered is just as incredible as the coin itself. Reports suggest that it was found by a collector who regularly searched through rolls of coins from local banks, a hobby known as coin roll hunting. One day, while going through a batch of 1990s pennies, he noticed one that looked slightly off. The color was a bit different, the rim seemed uneven, and under close inspection, the letters on the obverse looked doubled. Sensing that he might have found something special, he submitted the coin to a professional grading service such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, for authentication and grading. When the experts examined it under magnification and performed tests on its metal composition, they realized they were looking at a once-in-a-lifetime error coin. The combination of doubling, wrong planchet, off-center strike, and die cracks made it so rare that even seasoned experts were stunned. Once authenticated, the coin was graded in near-perfect mint state condition, possibly MS-68 or higher, and was later sold in a private auction for around $6 million, setting a record for a modern Lincoln cent. What makes this story even more exciting is that 1997 wasn't considered a particularly special year for pennies. It was a standard production year with no known transitional metal changes or design updates, which makes the existence of such an extreme error all the more mysterious. How did such a complex combination of mistakes happen at a mint equipped with modern technology designed to prevent exactly these kinds of errors? Some experts speculate that during the production process, a leftover blank from a previous batch, perhaps a dime planchet, was accidentally fed into the penny press. Others believe there could have been a mechanical misalignment in the striking chamber that caused the doubling and off-center strike at the same time. Whatever the cause, the result was a miracle of imperfection that turned a penny into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Collectors and treasure hunters quickly took notice, sparking a frenzy of interest in 1997 pennies across the nation. People began searching through their change, examining each 1997 coin under magnifying glasses, looking for even the slightest doubling or striking anomaly. Online forums, coin groups, and auction sites exploded with discussions and photos as enthusiasts compared their finds to the legendary $6 million specimen. Even though most 1997 pennies are perfectly ordinary, some do show minor errors like small die chips, weak strikes, or slight doubling, which can still be worth a few dollars to a few hundred depending on condition and visibility. But the Holy Grail remains the one with all four major errors combined, the coin that has rewritten modern numismatic history. Now, let's talk about why coins with minting errors are so valuable in the first place. It all comes down to three key factors: rarity, demand, and condition. Rarity means how few examples exist. If a coin's error is unique or only occurred for a brief moment during production, it becomes highly desirable. Demand is driven by collectors who specialize in errors and varieties, people willing to pay huge premiums for coins that tell a story about how they were made. And condition matters because the better preserved a coin is, the more collectors are willing to pay. The $6 million 1997 penny checks all three boxes: it's incredibly rare, highly demanded, and in stunning condition. It's also visually striking, anyone can see right away that it's different, which adds to its appeal. It's not a subtle variation hidden under magnification, it's a dramatic, eye-catching minting marvel that stands out immediately. Another interesting aspect is how this discovery reignited interest in late 1990s pennies in general. For years, collectors focused on older coins like the 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, and the famous 1955 double die, but after this story broke, people realized that even modern coins could hold massive value if they contained the right errors. This changed the landscape of modern coin collecting, bringing younger generations into the hobby and sparking new waves of excitement. Auction houses began featuring more modern era coins, YouTube channels and social media pages dedicated to coin hunting gained millions of views, and everyday people started checking their pocket change with new enthusiasm. The 1997 penny became a symbol of hope, a reminder that valuable treasures can still be found in circulation. Imagine walking into a store, paying with a handful of coins, and unknowingly handing over a penny worth $6 million. It sounds impossible, but stories like this prove that it can happen. Even today, collectors believe there could be more 1997 era pennies still out there, sitting in jars, drawers, or piggy banks, waiting to be discovered.